So this is one of my favorite plants in the garden. This is sorrel. This is the first time I have used a tripod, so I'm trying it out. So part of my YouTube channel is not only going to be political and religious commentary, but it's also going to involve gardening. And so I think gardening is one of the great pleasures of life. And here, this is the sorrel. And these plants are, believe it or not, they are actually over a year old. I planted these last year in the fall, and they love the cold weather. And these plants are somewhat heat hardy, but they do prefer the cold, but they will tolerate some intense heat, and they actually can survive, as is self-evident by the strength of these plants, the fact that they are still alive. I believe probably by this coming summer, these plants will bolt to seed, and I will try to collect that seed and propagate these plants. And I don't know, I'm trying to move the camera here. I don't know if you can hear this, but there are children screaming right now. But there is more plants growing here as well. And so the thing about these plants is that the thing about these plants is that they can only be eaten in a limited amount of ways. If you try to saute them like you would collards or kale, they do get slimy. So not a very good idea. The best way to eat sorrel is either raw or blitzed into a creamy green soup, which is what I'm going to do for you today. I don't think you can really buy kale at a normal grocery store. I've never seen it in a normal grocery store. But you probably could, if you want to buy it, you probably could buy it at like some hipster grocery store. I don't know. The types of stores where they sell like dandelion greens. But the best way to get sorrel into your kitchen is really to grow it yourself. Sorrel is a member of the amaranth family, so it's actually related to spinach and Swiss chard. But unlike spinach and Swiss chard, it has the flavor of lemon. And so the beautiful thing about this green soup is that not only is it creamy and it has a wonderful creamy texture and consistency, but it has the taste of lemon. And if someone tries the soup for the first time and doesn't know the taste of sorrel, he will think, or she will think, that you squeezed a big old lemon in the pot. But it is not lemon. It is sorrel, my friends. Sorrel gives you a citrusy taste. And so I'm going to harvest some and make a delicious soup. Now there is another ingredient in this dish. It is called garlic chive. Now garlic chive is a little bit different from your regular chive, which has the taste of onion in it. This chive has more of a garlicky taste. You can eat it raw, and it has slightly garlicky flavor. This type of herb is actually more popular in Asia. They love it in China, Thailand, Japan, where they like to make a pancake out of it. This is the little garlic chive sort of bulb, basically the flower before it becomes a flower. You can taste these, and they actually have a very pungent garlicky taste to it. It's very good. If you put these in a dish, never really cook them in high heat. You want to add them to the pot or to the frying pan when the heat is off. Because if you overcook it, if there's too much heat, the flavor will pretty much go away. So you just want it in the end, and you basically want to eat the chive raw with the dish. And that is how you're going to keep the flavor. So I'm going to add some of these in. And if you just harvest one here, let's just see how it looks like. Here's some small ones, but these are an excellent herb to use.
Alright everyone, so we're going to be cooking up this soup. First thing we're going to be doing is adding in a little bit of butter. And then we're going to put in some good olive oil, which is the best oil, the supreme oil. Don't be using like canola or any of that garbage. Use olive oil. That is the supreme oil. And then once that butter melts, we are going to add in some onions and garlic. And this is a mixture of onion and garlic. I just mix it all together. Very, very simple recipe. And when we cook these onions, we're not going to be cooking them like to their brown or anything like that. Just, sweat them. And here I am just salting the onions, the garlic, and the oil. I actually salt the oil and the onion and the garlic. I salt the aromatics because it's really going to add that good layer of flavor. And then we're going to be adding one potato, just one, thinly sliced. And the purpose of the potato is to just give it a good consistency. That is the purpose of this potato. It adds a good, creamy texture. And it's what's going to give the soup its good unctuousness. And then we're just going to add water. And that's not enough water, so I'm just going to add in a little bit more. And then we are going to bring that to a boil. And then once that's boiling, I'm going to add in a little bit of chicken paste. You can add any sort of stock. You can use like chicken stock, you could use pork stock, beef stock, vegetable stock, whatever, but you just want to substantiate your water. And then once the potato is thin enough that you could stab through it with a fork, this is the point where we are going to add in our greens. Just add in those greens. And these greens are going to turn to a lighter, well, actually a darker color. You're going to see this in a moment. It's very fascinating to watch. Even though I've made this soup numerous times, it still fascinates me to see this chemistry. Just watch how this color turns. Watch how the green color begins to alter because of the heat. It's fascinating to see this. Once that color changes, that means the leaves are ready to be blitzed, and that's exactly what I am about to do right here. And once you see that good consistency, that's when you stop. But you just want to continue blitzing it until you know it has that texture that you're looking for. And I just like, even though I know it's ready, I keep going just so I can guarantee like, okay, texture is perfect. And at this point, I'm just going to turn off the heat and I'm going to remove the pot and add in just a glob of cream. Not that much, just enough to give it that good texture. And then it turns into this beautiful light green color. And then I add in the chives, the garlic chives. And that garlic chive is just going to add in a slight garlicky flavor. It's not going to be too strong. It's just going to give that slight garlic flavor to your palate. And it's just going to finish the soup up. It's going to complete the soup perfectly. And then I serve it. You know how this goes. Serving the soup. And it looks beautiful, as always.